so that gives a good overview as to, and the overview of the genesis behind the survey. For logistical reasons, you ended up working in 15 villages. How did you end up picking those particular villages?
Well, we can't say that this was all pure science. In terms of, we knew which ecological zones we wanted to work, and we wanted to make sure there was enough diversity. The way it had to work then is we then, call it quasi-randomly, picked a number of waradas where we said, well, this would seem to be filling in relative to the existing 6 villages, some kind of characteristics from the agriculture point of view that we don't have in these 6 villages. Then it became just a purely pragmatic issue. We gave the instructions to our survey coordinator, who at the time was Berket Keberi from the University of Addis Ababa, and Shukri Ahmed, who was at the time working at the University of Oxford, to actually make sure we had a reasonable balance between accessibility in terms of roads and remoteness in different parts. And then they had to work, and unfortunately that is the way, definitely at the time we had to work in Ethiopia, getting definitely the permissions at the district level to actually include a certain number of peasant associations or villages in our sample. So the result is not really a kind of a pure scientific method of actually selecting your villages. However, call it a kind of a quasi-stratified way where you make sure that we have some kind of some of the key elements of the diversity of rural Ethiopia in our sample. I think if you compare the data with, for example, the nature of the diversity we observe in national data, so for example the national data from 95-96, that actually we got it more or less right. It's very hard to say that we're missing fundamentally particular types of rural households, with one key exception. We never intended to include pastoralist households simply because sampling and the nature of longitudinal survey analysis is fundamentally different.